Today, we bring you an exclusive interview with a whistleblower who says the New York Attorney General's office, led by Letitia James, turned a blind eye to illegal financial activity. The allegations? Serious. The stakes? High. Our guest says internal warnings were ignored, evidence was buried, and public trust has been violated. They're speaking publicly, and they're doing it right here on LindellTV. What you're about to hear is the full scope of the case. Here now, one-on-one with the whistleblower at the center of the Letitia James controversy, Julian Knight. Julian, thank you for being here with us today and telling your story. You worked at Standard Chartered Bank when you claim that you noticed some suspicious activity. Let's start from the beginning. Walk us through your role at the bank.
Yeah, hi Vanessa. I used to run a large piece of the bank around the foreign exchange currencies. So basically my role was to supervise all of that division and make it better, make it safer, and roll it out around the globe. I found some incredible holes in the system though. Big holes that allowed people anywhere on the planet to access the system and transact in these various currencies against the dollar, and then once they transacted through the system, that basically their names could be changed. So it basically was a real red flag for anti-money laundering.
And what year was this?
So I joined the bank in 2008. I was hired by the chairman, and it was 2010 and 2011 that I found this, and I presented this finding to senior management. I thought I was doing a great service to the bank, to improve it, to make it better, but it was clear very quickly that that wasn't going to be the case. So in 6 months I was asked to leave. I was told that I wanted to leave, which was not true, and I was off the package to exit the bank, which I duly took and left.
So when you talk about this suspicious activity that you saw, the red flags, what exactly did you see? Explain to us what the suspicious activity was.
Yeah, basically I could see clients logging on from all over the planet. And I noticed that a client could log on, for instance, from Iran. And that struck me as being very strange because, of course, at that point, Iranian sanctions were in place. And, you weren't as a global bank allowed to trade dollars with Iranian counterparts, especially those that were designated. So I basically tried to fix that. I tried to patch up the holes in the system, which essentially allowed these clients to log on. And unfortunately, my fixes weren't required. It was very clear that the bank wanted to continue doing business with Iranian clients.
And could you see how much money was being transferred?
Yeah, I could see the volumes that were going through the platform. I could also see the profits that were being made. And, I guess the important thing is to know that you have evidence of that. So I guess that takes us to when I left the bank. I actually didn't know I had any evidence, and it was my old briefcase that had been, I think it had broken on one of my travels. It was back in the day pre-cloud, so we used to get our email handed to us on a CD, and normally the CD would be destroyed, but someone put it back in my briefcase. My briefcase broken, and when I'd left the bank, I realized that in that contained my entire inbox for about 3 years. So I had all of the reports, all of my findings, the report I actually wrote to the bank seniors, and within all of that was just a frightening amount of deals that were happening under our noses with Iranian clients. It complete U-turn to the sanctions, what the sanctions were trying to achieve.
And where were these payments coming from?
So they were coming from basically a top-down situation with Iran. So everything from the government, the central bank, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, all the way down to the petroleum companies and all the supply chains that were under them. But a lot of companies that were directly raising funds for the IRGC, and we even found some really bad transactions that were with the leadership of Hezbollah and Hamas.
Wow. And so this transaction, or these transactions that you found, are we talking about thousands of dollars, millions, billions? What was the approximate amount that you're seeing being transferred at this time?
9.6 billion precisely, with and this is just in the window of information we had, the little window that we had. $9.6 billion with a host of as I said, terrorist organizations, designated counterparties. But beyond that, we found over 100 billion with Iranian counterparties as well. So it was clear that the whole country, designated counterparties. But beyond that, we found over 100 billion with Iranian counterparties as well. So it was clear that the whole country was being banked by Standard Chartered.
So you leave, you find this CD, it has all of your emails for 3 years or so. What do you do next?
I couldn't believe what I was finding, because I recreated my inbox from the CD. I sat back, I think I put a coffee on, and I typed in the keyword search, Iran, and the screen just started. And I nearly fell off my chair, because essentially what that was telling me is that I had evidence of all of those deals. And I had the reports that contained all of the transactions. So it was golden. So I spoke to a friend in America, and very quickly we managed to get the CD to the regulators, primarily the New York Department for Financial Services, who's the primary regulator for overseas banks that have a satellite or have a branch office in New York. And, we handed that CD in, and the world just went mad. I mean, I guess about 6 months later, the bank had an initial fine. But here's the rub. The regulators at the time dismissed, and the lead FBI agents dismissed our involvement as being meritless. The phrase that they used was, we were meritless. We provided no help, which was just crazy considering the volume of deals that we'd found.
Well, we just saw the website. I was looking it up last night, Julian, of Standard Chartered Bank. I did make a phone call to them, left a message in hopes to get a statement from them. At this time, I have not, and we'll keep trying to hear what they have to say about this, because they are at the epicenter of this accusation. That's where you worked. So it was dismissed. You had no merit to your claims. Let's fast forward to today. This has been going on for years. No one has really listened to you. They've kind of ignored this, turned a blind eye to this. But in comes President Trump and his administration, and someone's finally listening to you. It's the Trump administration. So let's talk about Letitia James. How does Letitia James fall into this? What exactly are you accusing her, the Attorney General of New York, and her office of doing or not doing?
Well, we when we found additional transactions by, deeply looking into the spreadsheets we had with a forensic tool, we then presented those essentially, take our claims and our evidence, because, it wasn't just what we were saying. We were actually showing hard evidence. We were showing transactions, many thousands of transactions, hundreds of thousands. And, it wasn't just our interpretation. They were real. They are real. So, we move forward to now, and we still have no idea what their office are doing.
So you mentioned the election year. So that was in 2024. Do you believe her office knowingly ignored those illegal financial transactions?
I'm struggling to find an explanation for why the bank hasn't been, um, spoken to, punished. Um, I can't understand why nothing has been done. Why the bank is still allowed to use use and abuse the dollar clearing system that it has access to. So I'm at a loss really to understand what is going on here.
So you've said that you have specific instances, you have emails, you have communications that support your claims. That all, correct me if I'm wrong here, that has been turned over to the Trump administration, correct? And they're looking into this?
Yeah, our evidence has been handed over. It's been given to the various investigatory teams, and I guess the first positive message we seem to have got is from the DOJ and with their extension of our case at the appeal court.
And so the DOJ has been working with you. They have also, from what I'm told, have reached out to the Attorney General's office and Letitia James and have actually given her a deadline of 10 days. That 10 days has passed. She has not publicly released a statement. I, too, talked to her press team today in hopes to get a statement. And as of right now, I still have not received that, but we'll still keep pushing for reaction from her office and also the bank's side as well, Julian. So again, I want to go back real quick to the bank because this is baffling to me. Your job was to make sure all these transactions were secure. You see this illegal activity going on. It raised red flags. Were these transactions, I want a two-parter here. Were these transactions going to people that you could see on your computer, or was it private? That's the first one. Who were these transactions specifically going to? Could you see the person's name and or company? And were these people who were funneling, you said $9.6 billion, was it from American companies or foreign companies?
So these transactions were being essentially hidden in a vehicle called the Sundry account. That was the way that they were going to get through the scrutiny of the Fed's wire system in the US, the clearing system for US dollars. So all of these clients were being booked spuriously to this Sundry account. It would be a standard chartered Sundry, so it essentially looks like the bank's own business. And they would route through the States. They would come back to the Middle East, and the account name would then be changed. It would be reversed. So there would be a reversal out of the Sundry, and the real account would be put into the system, and then the real account would, of course, get dollars that had miraculously passed through the clearing system, completely, avoiding all of the mechanisms that are there to stop sanctions busting, and all of this will be done in a very manual way. And it was that process that I saw, that I unraveled, that really concerned me. When I had the information, and I did that keyword search after I'd left the bank, I could see that these accounts were, as I said, top down Iranian. It was basically every element of Iran, the IRGC, and of course then the expeditionary forces like Hezbollah and Hamas, and even as far as the Taliban as well. We saw a range of transactions that were for companies supplying the Taliban with fertilizer for the IED bombs.
Wow, unbelievable. And again, just to reiterate, you raised these concerns internally, brought them to your boss, I'm assuming. How was that handled?
Well, my boss was one step away from the board of the bank, so he reported to the board of the bank. And in fact, at that time, because my division was so large, I had two bosses that reported to the board of the bank. And I can remember making the presentation to them, and their faces went, they completely went white like ghosts. They obviously realized that I'd, found what was a very devious mechanism. And, I guess they wanted to shut me down as quickly as possible. They sent me to go and speak to various satellite officers. And at the end of that time, they called me back to the Middle East and basically fired me.
Unbelievable. Well, we'll have more with Julian Knight and how this case has been going on for years. And now again, after all this time, someone is finally listening, the Trump administration. We'll be right back.
To celebrate our newest launch, Rev 7, I'm bringing you an amazing introductory offer, plus an exclusive overstock sale that you're not going to want to miss. Rev 7 is our premium energy drink that tastes great and gives you energy all day with no jitters and no crashes. That's because there's no sugar and no caffeine. I'm so sure you're going to love Rev 7 that for a limited time you can try our 3-pack absolutely free. Or check out our Percale bed sheets. I can't believe I'm even going to say this. Every color, every style, every size, only $29.88. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save 20% on our Rev 7 12-packs or try our introductory 3-pack absolutely free. And our Percale bed sheets, all sizes, only $29.88, even the queens and kings. Inventory is extremely limited, so order now. With everybody talking about making America healthy again, I thought today'd be a great day to talk to all my fellow patriots about the importance of making your homes healthy again. Well, we have proudly partnered with airwaterhealing.com and their revolutionary whole home air purification system. The V3 from Air Water Healing does 3,000 square feet of purification. It eliminates dust, mold, viruses, and odors. But here's the part I love. They require no filters to ever be changed and virtually no maintenance. Whether you suffer from asthma, allergies, seasonal bronchitis, or just want to protect your family from the flu or even greater threats, don't wait to get your V3 from airwaterhealing.com today. Use code Lindell for 20% off in savings and free shipping. That's promo code Lindell at airwaterhealing.com. I hear every day about the products you all wish MyPillow carried. Well, guess what? We probably do. Slippers, bathrobes, pet beds, blankets, mattresses, sleepwear, loungewear, duvets, comforters, pot holders, aprons, oven mitts, and so much more. And they're all on sale. For example, get our best-selling standard MyPillows for only $14.98. Body pillows, $29.98. 6-piece bath towels or kitchen towel sets, just $29.98. Multi-use MyPillow 2.0s with pillowcase, $9.98. Save $40 on our Spring Percale and Giza Dream bedsheet sets. Any size, any color, and so much more. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save up to 80% on all MyPillow products. And I've never done this before. When you spend $100 or more, you're going to get 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free.
Welcome back to our one-on-one interview with whistleblower Julian Knight, accusing New York AG Letitia James and her office of ignoring illegal bank activities. Julian, you've shared your evidence with previous administrations. Do you think any of the evidence has been destroyed, altered, concealed? I'm sure you have put this in the hands of many people to try to tell your story and what's going on. Do you think anything has been altered or concealed?
I don't know. I can't speak to whether that has actually happened. All I can speak to is my deep frustration with what I'm going to call the old administration. Under Biden and Obama previously, we just didn't seem to get any any traction, and we just couldn't understand why. When again, we just had simply the evidence. We had files and files of evidence, hundreds of thousands of transactions, that no one was taking it seriously, and that people were using the phrase meritless when it came to describing what we had.
And you have used the phrase "we." Is that you and your legal team?
Yeah, that's my legal team, which is a number of lawyers that have been assisting us over the years.
So you've mentioned other administrations. You've mentioned Obama. You've mentioned Biden. Have you witnessed any attempts to cover this up? Any cover up in this activity? What do you say about that? Are they just staying quiet? They just turned a blind eye? What's going on there?
Well, it's really conjecture, but I saw Senator Grassley's report this year that came out and started, showing evidence, real hardcore evidence that there was a top-down edict from the Biden and Obama administrations to crush all of the Iranian sanctions cases, whilst the Iranian nuclear deal, which was a terrible deal, was negotiated. By doing that, they were effectively
and you want me
opening.
to sit in my seat and stand idly by and allow.
Sorry about that. We were showing some video of Letitia James, and the audio came up. But continue what you were saying.
No, I mean, well, they were effectively opening the floodgates, by allowing this to continue. They were giving a green light to banks like Standard Chartered to continue dealing. And, we've seen evidence that takes us up to 2022, where the bank is still, after all those years, after all the fines, it's still dealing with, Iranian clients. And my guess is they'll never, ever, ever stop until the Trump administration goes out there and properly cleans this mess up.
So how have they been working with you? Tell us about that communication with yourself and the Trump administration.
Well, we've been, we put our evidence was put into court, was put into the systems, and it's there for the investigators to see, and we respectfully believe that they are going to carry out a very thorough investigation, and for once, consider exactly everything that's on the table, and all the multitude of transactions that we found. So, we are, as I say, very open to help the administration in any which way we can, and we'll do that gladly.
Have you faced any retaliation for speaking out over the years?
Oh, yes. Yeah. I've been, the bank has done its utmost best to crush my reputation, to tell the world that I'm a liar, that that there are absolutely no merit to what I've said, whether that's in London, whether that's in New York, whether that's in Asia. They've gone on a global crusade to try and discredit me. So, they prevented me from working in finance by, effectively, putting a mark against my name. And then, of course, going out there publicly every time we've spoken to someone like yourself, they'll fire back a retaliation against me.
How so?
Well, they gone into press. They put it on their website last year when we filed in court. They advised all of their clients and investors that our claims were completely meritless and that nothing had happened, and that they were the cleanest bank on the street, basically. But no, it's shocking, really. It's really shocking that they could disown what we found.
And so it's been hard for you to find any work at all.
Yeah, no, I've had to come out of finance, and I have set up a farming business now where I employ veterans, and I try and find a way to manufacture feeds and stuff for the country here.
So let's go back to when you first noticed these transactions. You turned it in, you were let go, you started these, putting it out there. From then until now, who all do you believe knew about this and ignored it?
Oh, I believe that the lead from the old DOJ. I believe that the FBI case manager that previously ran this investigation, who incidentally himself had been previously accused of falsifying evidence by a judge in New York and making wrong search warrants. I believe that there was a top-down drive to make this case go away, and to basically try and find a scapegoat for some of the transactions. I think in 2019, the bank admitted to 2 different clients violating Iranian sanctions. These were very low-lying clients. There was never an attempt to get to the truth, and the truth was that the whole of Iran and all of its forces and all of the terrorist organizations that it was supplying money to, were being billions of dollars was flowing, and there was no attempt to stop that.
You think it's still going on?
I think there are still there. I absolutely do. I think they're still doing, because they haven't been stopped. They haven't been punished, and no one up until now has come in and said enough's enough. And it would be a great signal to all of the banks all around the world to see an administration finally cleaning this mess up and saying it is not acceptable to kill our American servicemen, British servicemen, because you look at the casualties and the deaths over the years through Islamic sponsored terror. It's been huge, and it needs to stop. And so I have every bit of confidence that under Donald Trump's leadership, under President Trump's leadership, we're finally going to get justice, and these horrendous waves of financing are going to stop.
So the Trump administration has reached out to Letitia James. They have made her aware of this investigation. Has anyone from her office, the AG's office of New York, have they contacted you?
No, I've had no contact directly with any of the AG's office.
And so Kari Lake released a statement to LindellTV just this week, Julian, and she's demanding accountability and answers in this investigation. Do you think this is about incompetence, or is it about corruption?
I think I just couldn't see how it could be incompetence. I just couldn't see that, because when you're presented with such clear direction in terms of the transactions that we found, you can't blame that on incompetence. They're there. It's you can see these names. There should be red flags all over these reports. There's no way these entities should have been allowed onto the U.S. soil to trade through the U.S. clearing system, and effectively put all of the other users of that system at risk.
When we come back, how the Trump administration is listening to your story, we'll talk more about that, and also how we've tried reaching out to the AG's office as well. Stay with us here on LindellTV. We'll be right back.
You're still looking good.
I'm still feeling good. You know, I've got all your MyPillow products. Mattress topper, bed sheets, MyPillows, towels, slippers, blankets.
I'm interrupting this commercial to do something I've never done before. Get 2 MyPillows absolutely free on orders of $100 or more. I can't do this forever, so get on board with this great sale today. Our best-selling 6-piece bath towel sets or kitchen towel sets, just $29.98. Our famous standard MyPillows only $14.98. Queens $18.98. King size only $1 more. Body pillows $29.98. Multi-use MyPillow 2.0s with pillowcase $9.98. Save $40 on our spring percale and Giza Dream bed sheet sets. Any size, any color. So go to MyPillow.com or call that number on your screen. Use your promo code to save up to 80% on all MyPillow products. And when you spend $100 or more, get 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free. Forget about keto, carnivore, low-carb, and intermittent fasting diets. If you want to drop stubborn extra pounds and maintain a healthy weight, you need to rejuvenate your overworked liver. Studies have shown that the rate of an overworked liver has skyrocketed by 131% over the past 30 years. And lots of things have contributed to that, like eating processed junk food, drinking alcohol, and even toxic exposure. That's why it is crucial that you take action now to rejuvenate your liver. And that's exactly what Liver Health Formula can help you do. Join in thousands of others in supporting a thriving liver and healthy weight. You can try Liver Health Formula risk-free, and as a bonus gift, receive a free bottle of omega-3s with your order. Try Liver Health Formula by going to getliverhelp.com/Lindell and claim your free bonus gift. That's getliverhelp.com/Lindell. Hello, everyone. I'm excited to announce the next generation of energy drinks, Rev 7. It has no sugar and no caffeine. Instead, Rev 7 uses Go BHB. Go BHB is one of the body's primary ketones, and it provides the most efficient and clean fuel that your body needs. It also helps you stay energized all day with no crashes. Not only that, it produces 3 times more brain energy than sugar, which helps boost your memory, focus, and mental sharpness. It also helps reduce stress and helps balance your mood. Rev 7 does all that while being the best tasting energy drink ever. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save 20% today. I'm so sure you're going to love Rev 7. For a limited time, you get our introductory 3-pack absolutely free. I drink Rev 7 every day, and I absolutely love it, and so will you.
Welcome back to LindellTV. We are back now with Julian Knight. Julian, thanks so much for joining us. For people just now tuning in, you are a whistleblower in this case where you found some illegal transactions going on with Standard Chartered Bank while you were an employee there. You claimed that there were, $9.6 billion in funds being transferred to illegal terrorists to foreign countries. It raised red flags. You said you were let go. You've brought this to several administrations. They've debunked your claims. They've made you, out to be some crazy person. Now Letitia James is involved. You're saying in 2024, it was an election year. You're saying she too turned a blind eye on this, and now the Trump administration is looking into this, and they have notified Letitia James on what's going on and asking her for a statement. She has not made a public statement on this. What do you want the public to know about this case?
Well, I want the public to know that it is not acceptable for the authorities to allow a bank to do such damage on American soil. To process this huge volume of transactions involving the dollar with such a range of terrible terrorist organizations is just not acceptable. There was one instance that I wanted to tell you about where the bank actually used the TARP funds, the bailout funds, in 2008 They drew down about $3 billion of American rescue money for banking system. And that very day, they deployed those dollars to enable about $500 million of US dollars to be cleaned up for the Central Bank of Iran using the Central Bank of Algeria. It's nothing short of criminal. And the bank did that under the glare of the Attorney General. And this was allowed to pass. The bank was given a free pass on this. And we brought this to the attention of the AG's office. This very transaction, we talked about it in great depth, how the bank had basically defrauded the US government by taking this money and knowingly giving it to a despot country. It's utterly incredible that this could happen, that they could lie to the US government and not be punished for this. To take rescue money from the taxpayers in America and then to recycle it to clean dollars for the Central Bank of Iran. The Central Bank of Iran is the key paymaster for all of the Iranian Guard Corps, for Hamas, for Hezbollah, for Iranian-sponsored terror in Syria, for the Houthis. This is just unbelievable that this could be allowed to happen. And year after year, the bank has made false representations to the New York Attorney General's team about its anti-money laundering and said that, everything's good here. They've been believed and they've been allowed to continue using the US clearing system, which, the rules are there and they shouldn't be allowed to get away with this. And we made this clear to the team at the Attorney General's office. And, I would have expected the bank's state charter to have been immediately revoked, and to be investigated. And the bank has not once been stopped since we presented. Not once has, it been stopped and not allowed to use the U.S. clearing system.
So you just mentioned that not once have they been investigated until now with the Trump administration.
Yeah.
We know you're calling for an investigation. Are you calling for a resignation or prosecution, one with Letitia James and others who may have known about this, and also people within the bank?
Well, I think there's obviously two large elements there. If there has been basically fraud, or if there has been corruption within the entity that's there to protect the US in terms of its banking system, then that needs to be dealt with, of course. The bank is, in my opinion, a long-term offender. The bank never, ever stops. It saw other banks getting fined. Itself has been fined about $3 billion, but that's a small price for it to pay to continue doing these transactions. We saw the transactions with the Hezbollah leadership, and the bank was making millions and millions of dollars from these transactions. It's making such huge commissions, and another, in any normal institution that would have been a red flag as well, but not in this bank.
This is really unbelievable that this is going on. They say, Julian, money is the root of all evil, and if this is truly the case, this is what we're seeing right here, and they're not doing their country any justice and giving, like you said, billions of dollars to these foreign countries, these terror countries and organizations. If Letitia James were watching this interview, what would you say to her?
Please stop this. Please stop this. You're there to protect New Yorkers. You're there to protect the foreign banks and the national banks that operate in your state. Please stop this.
What would you tell the bank?
I would tell the bank that it's now finally going to face justice.
And are you hearing that from the people within the Trump administration? What are they telling you about this?
Well, we're confident that there's going to be finally action. I think the signal from the US government in the last week, which you've reported, has shown that there is, with this extension, there is deep concern that this needs to be dealt with. And for once, this needs to be stopped. And I have every faith in the government and the administration under the leadership of the president that finally we're going to see an end to this. You know, and you think about what this war chest has actually done to the world, how it's destabilized the world. You know, undoubtedly, this war chest paid for the tunnels to be built by Hamas. It paid for that dreadful attack. It armed that dreadful attack on October 7, with all the damage that has done to the world. It armed and destabilized the Middle East in a way that's, you know, frankly horrendous. And I also hope that somewhere in the administration's thought here is that the entity that has been most responsible for destabilizing that region is going to, you know, pay the bill, and pay the bill for the brave action of Operation Midnight Hammer, led by the president, which, you know, me as a former pilot, I admire what that operation did and how it saved, you know, that region and put an end to Iran's aggression. So, you know, I think somewhere in the back of their mind must be, you know, that needs to have been paid for. And all these atrocities need to be, you know, paid for with due justice.
You mentioned that you've been a pilot. You served in the Air Force. Thank you for your service, Julian. Let's talk about that and how you fight for veterans as well.
You know, my fight for veterans has never stopped. I joined the Air Force as a young man when I was 18 years old. I was a cadet prior to that, so it's been in my blood. I was lucky enough to get selected to be a pilot in the Air Force, and then to go and train on single seat jets. I joined the Air Force when I remember it very clearly. You know, the first Gulf War broke out in 1990, and I saw comrades go into battle and then not come back. You know, I saw fellow pilots that I trained with and that trained me go to Iraq and the region and not come back. And, you know, it's always been really dear to my heart. My brother continued that family legacy. So when I left the Air Force, he joined and flew helicopters, American helicopters for the British in both Iraq and also Afghanistan for the Second War and the Afghan War. So we as a family have seen firsthand the damage that this state-sponsored terrorism has actually inflicted on the world. You know, we lost a small proportion compared to the amount of American lives lost, but nevertheless, a lot of British lives lost in those conflicts. And, you know, when I think about how this bank was continuing to pay no regard to the loss, to what it was actually doing. You know, I accused it a couple of years ago of having blood on its hands, and I stand by that. It's got the blood of US servicemen and UK servicemen on its hands. And I just hope that, you know, God will see a way to get justice for those friends of mine who will never come back.
Well, again, we thank you for your service and everything you're doing, not only on the front lines, but also trying to get some accountability in what you have said is corruption and it's just sickening to see that if this is truly the case, which you have the evidence that it is, that justice needs to be served. At any point, Julian, have you, when they've been attacking you and coming after you, and you said they've written articles about you, it's hard for you to find work, has there ever been a time where you've second-guessed yourself for coming forward?
No, I'm not a second guess type of person. I believe that that I guess God drove me to act in this way, and doesn't want me to deviate from my course. I'm determined, absolutely determined to see this through, and see people who've done these wrongs be held account. And whether that's within the bank, which clearly there's been, an awful lot of really, really bad actors there, but also within, the various administrations that have turned an eye to this and not dealt with it. People need to be held account for that, because, literally people lost their lives by allowing this bank to continue what it was doing. The hundreds of hostages taken, you could chart a course back to this bank supplying funding to the Iranian regime that enabled Hamas to commit those dreadful atrocities.
And as we start to close out here, Julian, what's next? What is the Trump administration, the people you're talking to, your attorneys are speaking with, what's next in this investigation?
I sincerely hope that under the president's leadership, we're going to see the end game of this. We've been fighting this now for 2 decades. I believe we've been fighting it for that long because previous administrations under Joe Biden had, basically allowed this to continue happening. And I firmly believe the next 30 days we're going to see a proper cleanup, proper resolution. We're going to see all of the components of this be investigated, and to see people basically be brought to justice on this one. And I hope that this will serve as a massive lesson to the global banking system, that America is not going to tolerate a bank doing this, a bank essentially playing politics with the rest of the world, destabilizing the rest of the world. And finally, this is going to be brought to an end.
I hope you're right. And that was a great timeline you just mentioned. You said hopefully in the next 30 days, you think we'll see another big step within the month?
Yeah, I think that this administration is determined to quickly resolve this. I think what we're seeing now with this extension is, for the first time, the right people in the right roles get control of this, and and hold all of the elements that have been responsible for allowing this to carry on, hold them properly responsible for their actions.
Any words of advice for people who may be stuck in your situation? You're very brave. You're a fighter. We know that. You've been a pilot and have fought for our country. You're a fighter when it comes to doing what's right for our country, even when you see suspicious activity that you believe is going to illegal organizations. What is your advice for people who see something similar that may be working in the banking system, but they're too scared to come forward? Julian, a lot of people need their job. They have to have their job to pay bills, to keep a roof over their head, so they may not say anything. Any advice for them?
I think it's very tough. for people who are put in that position. But you've got to find some courage. You have to find some courage because, you'll know when you've seen bad behavior happening, you'll know that it's wrong and you'll know that it needs to be stopped. And just find some courage and, look to what I've done as a bit of an example, because we're here. It's 13 years down the line, but we're still fighting. But finally now we're being listened to. And finally, I feel that this is going to turn itself around and that we're going to see a positive outcome in this. So, you have a voice. You have a voice, use it, find courage, and, be strong. And, do not be afraid to not put your hand up, because you as a small person in a big institution can actually stop. You can actually stop bad behavior. And I think truly that our actions over the years have, stopped billions of dollars, finally being deployed in this way. And I think, it's important to listen to what I've done. And, I'll be happy to tell my story in a book, I hope, as well, because it's, I just want to inspire people to do the right thing.
You are inspirational. And for people watching right now, Julian, how can they follow you if they want to help you in this fight? What can they do?
Well, I'm on Twitter. We've got a hashtag that's the $1 billion briefcase, where we're telling our story. And you can find me on that social media. I'm also on Truth Social as well. So you can find me. I'm not hiding in the shadows. I'm here, and please reach out. And if you are, struggling, and seeing bad things happen in banks particularly, then please reach out and I can give you pieces of advice that I think will certainly help.
Julian Knight, the whistleblower in this case, we appreciate you coming on today. Thank you so much for coming on, telling your story, and keep us posted on how things go.
And thank you to you guys. You've been amazing. Thank you, Vanessa, and thank you to LindellTV.
Are you looking for monthly income without the risk of stocks? Well, here's something you won't hear about on CNBC. There's a unique way to collect royalty checks directly from America's most productive oil fields. No exploring, drilling, or operational headaches. You simply collect checks month after month. The best part? You can get started with just $25 through any brokerage account. The Oxford Club's chief income strategist, Mark Litchenfield, breaks down what he believes is the #1 loyalty royal play for 2025. So visit LindellOilBoom.com now to learn more. That's LindellOilBoom.com. That's LindellOilBoom.com now to learn more. That's LindellOilBoom.com. Stop buying oil stocks and start collecting oil royalty checks instead. You're still looking good.
I'm still feeling good. I've got all your MyPillow products. Mattress topper, bed sheets, MyPillows, towels, slippers, blankets.
I'm interrupted this commercial to do something I've never done before. Get 2 MyPillows absolutely free on orders of $100 or more. I can't do this forever, so get on board with this great sale today. Our best-selling 6-piece bath towel sets or kitchen towel sets, just $29.98. Our famous standard MyPillows only $14.98. Queens $18.98. King size only $1 more. Body pillows $29.98. Multi-use MyPillow 2.0s with pillowcase $9.98. Save $40 on our Spring Percale and Giza Dream bed sheet sets. Any size, any color. So go to MyPillow.com or call that number on your screen. Use your promo code to save up to 80% on all MyPillow products. And when you spend $100 or more, get 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free. Forget about keto, carnivore, low carb, and intermittent fasting diets. If you want to drop stubborn extra pounds and maintain a healthy weight, you need to rejuvenate your overworked liver. Studies have shown that the rate of an overworked liver has skyrocketed by 131% over the past 30 years. And lots of things have contributed to that, like eating processed junk food, drinking alcohol, and even toxic exposure. That's why it is crucial that you take action now to rejuvenate your liver. And that's exactly what Liver Health Formula can help you do. Join in thousands of others in supporting a thriving liver and healthy weight. You can try Liver Health Formula risk-free, and as a bonus gift, receive a free bottle of omega-3s with your order. Try Liver Health Formula by going to getliverhelp.com/Lindell and claim your free bonus gift. That's getliverhelp.com/Lindell. Hello, everyone. I'm excited to announce the next generation of energy drinks, Rev 7. It has no sugar and no caffeine. Instead, Rev 7 uses Go BHB. Go BHB is one of the body's primary ketones, and it provides the most efficient and clean fuel that your body needs. It also helps you stay energized all day with no crashes. Not only that, it produces 3 times more brain energy than sugar, which helps boost your memory, focus, and mental sharpness. It also helps reduce stress and helps balance your mood. Rev 7 does all that while being the best tasting energy drink ever. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save 20% today. I'm so sure you're going to love Rev 7. For a limited time, you get our introductory 3-pack absolutely free. I drink Rev 7 every day and I absolutely love it, and so will you. To celebrate our newest launch, Rev 7, I'm bringing you an amazing introductory offer, plus an exclusive overstock sale that you're not going to want to miss. Rev 7 is our premium energy drink that tastes great and gives you energy all day with no jitters and no crashes. That's because there's no sugar and no caffeine. I'm so sure you're going to love Rev 7 that for a limited time you can try our 3-pack absolutely free. Or check out our Percale bed sheets. I can't believe I'm even going to say this. Every color, every style, every size, only $29.88. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save 20% on our Rev 7 12-packs or try our introductory 3-pack absolutely free. And our Percale bed sheets, all sizes, only $29.88, even the queens and kings. Inventory is extremely limited, so order now. With everybody talking about making America healthy again, I thought today'd be a great day to talk to all my fellow patriots about the importance of making your homes healthy again. Well, we have proudly partnered with airwaterhealing.com and their revolutionary whole home air purification system. The V3 from Air Water Healing does 3,000 square feet of purification. It eliminates dust, mold, viruses, and odors. But here's the part I love. They require no filters to ever be changed and virtually no maintenance. Whether you suffer from asthma, allergies, seasonal bronchitis, or just want to protect your family from the flu or even greater threats, don't wait to get your V3 from airwaterhealing.com today. Use code Lindell for 20% off in savings and free shipping. That's promo code Lindell at airwaterhealing.com.
We've reached out to Letitia James's office, calling multiple times, and just today her office, the press department, called me back. They said that they would release a statement, and at this time we have not heard back. Letitia James has not publicly responded to these accusations that you just heard. We've also reached out to Standard Chartered Bank, and we've left a message on their voicemail. As of now, we have not heard back from them either. We'll keep pressing for answers and we'll keep digging. I'm Vanessa Broussard and you're watching LindellTV.